and he oversaw, I think, the first one organizing CBRE into corporate services, but also the big thing is he was president of Coldwell Banker Commercial, for many, many years. And then we're just really proud that he's here to be one of our corporate advisors, very close friends, and just helping out. Steph?
Well, I was just going to say, did I mess up the schedules, Bernard? Is it right now, or do we have a break?
Right now.
No break.
All right, Fred.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Well, thank you, Jim and Stephanie, and really excited to be here with all of you. Our breakout, and we'll jump right into it, is about the specialties in commercial real estate. And for those of you who aren't aware, our business is not one generic product, but it's a group of products. It's one of the most fascinating parts of our business. And I think in gearing up and working with many salespeople and professionals throughout my career, I've found that there's many keys to success, such as a positive attitude, lifelong willingness to learn, grit, and core values and ethics. But another ingredient is focus. And that focus is obtained through 3 levels of knowledge, particularly in commercial real estate. There's market knowledge, the impact of the real estate from the marketplace, product knowledge, which we're going to talk a lot about today, and then technical knowledge, the language of the business and all the other aspects of that. Key in gaining that knowledge is to apply it, to take action with that knowledge. And a former mentor of mine, when I started, my goodness, 40 years ago in the business, basically put it this way. It's an inelegant, but it's a good way of saying it. First you learn, then you burn, and then you earn. So today we have a group that is specialized knowledge. And we will hear about industrial, land and land development, office and retail, and international investments. And our panel consists of, and we'll go in this order, Rich Enderlin, who chairs our multifamily group, Warren Cohn, who heads up our international investment group, Heidi Hawk on land and development, and Calvin Wong on retail and office leasing. So with that being said, I'll go Rich, we'll go to you first. And first question, though, and feel free to go into the back of this, guys, is how did you choose your specialty and how did it contribute to your success? So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Rich.
Thank you so much. And first and foremost, such a pleasure to be here with you. I'm only a couple of years younger than you said. You and I had parallel careers. I've watched you over the years develop great franchises called Banker Commercial amongst them. And I just am thrilled at this stage, a latter stage of my career, to have an opportunity to share a stage with you. So thank you for hosting this. To answer your question, Fred, I kind of came my specialty in multifamily in a roundabout way. When I broke in 22, 23 years ago, I actually had a strong background in hospitality, having worked through college after that. And when I started with Marcus the Millichap and met with the manager, and he asked me the very same question, I said, well, what do you do hospitality? At the time, Marcus the Millichap had one person, an entire national company that did hospitality. And he looked at me and he said, you like to eat? I said, yeah, kind of pretty much every day. He said, do you make my food? And so I was very glad that I listened to him. Of course, today it's much different. Sector is an extraordinary sector to be in. I highly recommend it for those of you who really want to do so. But that's how I got involved in multifamily. It certainly makes sense to do so, given that there's more multifamily than any of the other asset classes combined. And it's one of the reasons why most commercial brokers are in that space. And for me, it was being a specialist because having done my entire commercial brokerage career in Los Angeles, obviously a very densely populated area, you needed to be a specialist. That's the way Marcus taught it. That's the kind of way we learned it. Be an expert in the marketplace, be an expert in the product type, know everything there is to know about what sales company, what the rent company is going for, what new construction is going on, what legislation is affecting the area. You have to be an absolute expert. And if you were, then you could be very, very successful. So that's kind of the way I grew up, Fred. It's still something that even with all the advancement in technology that we've had, it's still the way to be the most successful broker. You can't be too specialized if you're in a primary market such as Los Angeles or any major market city. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Appreciate that. We'll come back to you later to go a little deeper on multifamily and the differences. Rich touched on two of the key areas I was saying earlier, the market knowledge and technical knowledge and aspects of the marketplace. And there's a tendency when you're starting out or in business to try to get your arms around everything. And it's kind of antithetical, but really we want to work inside out, and that's what Rich was alluding to. Our next panelist is Lauren Cohn. And Lauren, why don't you tell a little bit, you have a very esoteric specialty.
Yes.
And one that is very appropriate, though, given I think international investment is really starting to ramp up again.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
welcome to the board.
Thank you.
Let's hear about your journey and how you chose where you were.
Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Hi, Fred. Hi, Calvin. Hi, everybody. Hi, Rich. So I'm originally from Canada, and I myself was the recipient of various immigration visas and went through a lot to get there, which is my story that we'll share another day. And my mom was a realtor, and so I became a realtor as part of my journey. I'm an international lawyer licensed in Canada and the US. And commercial, having done tons and tons of EB5 deals, for those of you who have heard about that, commercial was just the natural place for me. And I love being a resource for other eXpers. Actually, I just got asked a question about something to do with building a team, and a legal question, because a lot of people think I work for eXp corporate, and I don't. I have my own business, but I'm here as a support for all of you in commercial and residential, providing support on the international space. And, you know, as we keep adding countries, it becomes more and more relevant because there's questions constantly. What do I do with this deal? How do I work with that investor? How do I offer opportunities to these investors? And one of the things you'll find about me once you start working with me, I'm not the deal. I don't actually do deals. I'm a great referral agent. So I'm everybody's best friend because I love referring business to other people. I just referred a client to somebody in Texas, and so it's all in the family, and I really love what I do, and I take my role very seriously, working hand in hand with the client and their realtor. So thank you for the opportunity to be on this panel. I love being part of eXp Commercial.
Thank you, Lauren. I remember to turn my mic back on. So, Charles, we're going to let us into the world of industrial real estate here. And Charles is going to speak to that. I can tell you that the hottest market in the country, probably in the world right now, is industrial, which relates to supply chain and e-commerce and all that. But Charles, why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey, how you chose industrial as a specialty and all that good stuff. So thank you.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, definitely a journey, and similar to Rich, was suggested. I actually originally started with my career with residential, and switched over to commercial in downtown LA office. And I didn't really have an idea of what discipline I was going to get into, but my manager at the time decided, well, why don't you do industrial? Are we openings there? So, and I found that industrial, because of the AR network, it was somewhat similar to residential, where it had some sort of MLS system set up. This was well before CoStar and whatnot. So I got into it, and of course, as specialties go, there are specialties within industrial. You could do cold storage, food, warehousing, whatnot. But as you mentioned, it is probably one of the hottest markets. On average, they hit records nationwide over $100 a square foot in sales. But here in Southern California, we've seen $280,000. These are products that are not just these incubator sizes. These are 30, 40, 50,000. So amazing. But
in our business and throughout my life and my career with other people, change is opportunity. Whether it's good change or bad change, obviously we don't like bad change, but it is still opportunity. And your clients are going through market-driven and existential changes right now, and therefore there's opportunities that result in that. So that being said, let me go back to Rich and really kind of talk about, if you guys can do a little deeper dive on your specialties. What's the language of your specialty? What are the unique characteristics? I know in multifamily, Rich, they usually do a number, price per key, and all that type of thing. So what's the kind of measurements and what kind of clients are you dealing with? A lot of times when you're in a specialty, selling to is just as important as the product. And so if they like working with
Fred, yeah, thank you. So in multifamily, again, the way you become a specialist is picking your area, picking your products, and building your database. So, for me, for example, I'm here in Southern California, South Bay of Los Angeles. The city of Inglewood has 4,300 apartments in just that one street alone. So you can imagine the plethora of opportunities that exist when you have that kind of volume. So again, the way we talk people into the business is you build that database. And again, you do the good old fashioned cold calling. I mean, that's the way we were raised. And you cold call away until you find 3, 4, or 5% of those prospective owners who are in the sell that particular year. So you have to speak their language. And my objective and every phone call I ever made, was I wanted that person to walk away saying, this guy knows his stuff. You always try to find that connection. You're never going to bat 1,000 with that. But at least when they walk away, they say, okay, this guy really understands his stuff. He's a guy I can go to if I want to do it. And that's why, bait, select, drag, everything there was to know, whether it be cap rates, cost per units, cost per foot, whatever measurement it was, I studied every comp that came through and made sure I understood exactly where the market was, where it is, and where I thought it was going. Same with rents, because rents are dynamic, they're constantly changing, they're obviously going to affect values. So understanding all of these things and combining it again with market knowledge, you become a go-to guy. And that's ultimately what the decision was for me. And with multifamily, there's so much information and data to keep track of that it's really hard not to be an expert if you just do your homework and put it to work, study your market and stay with it day in and day out. Okay.
Thank you. Points. These are tools in your toolbox, and this knowledge. I keep coming back to knowledge because I think it's a good model to work from. The market, product, and technical knowledge are the tools and information that you're bringing to the client, that you're saying and speaking with clients and getting in front of clients and applying that. So it's just like a carpenter has a hammer, saw, a drill, all those different tools. That knowledge of the tools in the toolbox, and it's extremely important to invest your mind. The greatest, I have to say, out of all the businesses, commercial real estate, leasing and sales, one of the greatest returns for capital invested, which is the knowledge. So with that, I want to turn it over to Lauren. Lauren, you're doing international investment and bringing buyers and sellers into and referring that business. But how do you go about qualifying them? Because in my career, I had a lot of international investors from all over the world call me. And I always spent a lot of time qualifying them.
Yeah.
And I had investors that would say, well, I want to spend $50 million on what it was. That always bothered me because I knew they really weren't serious enough. So how do you go about doing that? And what are the unique characteristics of those?
Wow, those are loaded questions, Fred. I'm going to try to answer them. So one way I qualify them is by charging them for a consult. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually a very good effort that I've taken recently because there are so many people that are from all over the world that are interested, and I say interested very loosely, that are interested in looking at getting into the US or getting into Canada, because I deal with both, and figuring out ways to do that. So I actually created a signature program called How to Immigrate Through Real Estate. And the way to qualify them is to know the right questions to ask and to have those questions at your, ready and ready to speak with the client about. I know that I was in Clubhouse. I run a room every other week for the Global Real Estate group. And a woman was asking me, how do you ask the question, where are you from? Do you have a visa? I mean, you have to be careful when you're dealing with people from other countries because not everybody approaches things the same way as we do in America. And to be honest, even Canada is different, although most people don't think that Canadians are that different. We just say different words and some say a, other than me. So the reality is that at the end of the day, it's like anything, it's all about creating a relationship. And that relationship is the key to your success. That relationship is the key to the qualification. That relationship with the realtor that's going to bring that foreign investor to the table, that relationship with the end user that may be that prospective foreign investor that you're going to refer to the realtor. So I think the relationships, just like we're building here among the commercial folk, because really and truly we're at the cutting edge of everything that's going on in commercial. There's so much excitement right now. And it's a matter of figuring out who to navigate the path with. And for example, all of us are building our committees right now. And I was like, oh my goodness, who do I invite on my committee? So I have an Australian, I have a Ukrainian, I have a Canadian, surprise, another one other than me. And you have to have those people, those trusted advisors that know the industry and know the international space. And as we get bigger and bigger and bigger, creating those relationships with everybody from countries all over the world. Because at the end of the day, not everybody is going to qualify for even a non-immigrant visa, and certainly not for an EB-5, a green card path. So it's knowing the questions to ask and working with the trusted advisors that if you don't know the questions, will help you to find out the questions to ask. So remember, at the end, I keep saying this, it's a lawyer term, at the end of the day, the key is don't try to play lawyer if you're not a lawyer. Try to reach out to trusted advisors that are going to help you and be that resource for you. I don't try to play tax advisor. I definitely stay away from that with a 10-foot pole. And I will tell you the most common question I'm asked is, what are the tax implications of this or that? So it's very important to know that you should stay in your lane and do what you do best. I'm not going to answer a question about retail. I might answer a couple of questions about multifamily just because I've been in the space, but I'm going to refer those questions out to my colleagues here. I don't know that much about land and how to value that. I'm going to refer to Heidi. So it's knowing how to build your team, and that's how you qualify the prospective investor. And also asking, where are they from? Because clients or prospective investors from different countries are going to qualify for different visas. It's not one size fits all.
Fascinating, thank you. I think what we provide too is we have an international community and how to navigate the legal and the different elements, taxing all those ramifications. Just the process is important. I might add that EB-5 has been a funding mechanism for some of the largest developments and construction projects in the United States.
Absolutely. And it still is. I mean, it's definitely changed a lot, but it's still a major mechanism, like for, hotels like Hilton's and Conrad's and all kinds of assisted living and you name it, retail. I mean, every part of the commercial industry has been impacted by EB-5. And I think that there are going to be more changes to that space going forward because of this new administration and the fact that we're going to need to bring more money into the country. And the world has changed drastically as a result of COVID. And we had to change to respond to that. So it's important to be ready to really address those changes and work with people from all over the world and know how to address them differently. Don't think that you can do the same thing with everybody, no matter where they're from. That's a really important thing. Cultural differences are the biggest challenge that you will have when dealing with a foreign national.
Well said, and very important. And frankly, one of the things that I, knowing Jim over the years, the diversity in this group and the diversity in eXp, which I think is a key differentiator, you need to reflect the population you're selling to. It's just good business on top of everything else. So that's a very important point on top of it. Thank you, Charles. Industrial unique characteristics of it. You are working in Southern California. I know the Inland Empire, probably the hottest commercial real estate market in the United States, if not the world right now. And so how are you navigating with your clients and what are you doing?
Yeah, well, there are two types of clients that we deal with. Of course, one is just a business user that is using it for their business purpose. And then you have what's been very popular is the owner investor who basically purchases it and what better investment than yourself as your own tenant. But it's very difficult. There's just very few product available for purchase, and even the leasing market is getting really tight. So talking to these people in the marketplace, and they tell them, well, are you buying it? Are you buying it as a deal, as an investment, or as your company industrial, and you have some more space because you've got 30 containers coming over in less than months, or as your business expanding. So we really look at why they're buying it, and we know there's so few properties available, and we know which property is actually getting built related to on the land development side. Land development is for all product side, so a lot of that coming up. But also before you mentioned, buzzwords on industrial areas and, even specialties within, but, your buzzwords are things like DOC, loading gears, ceiling height, discharge rates, if you're making chemicals or washing stuff. How is the ceiling set up? With draft curtains, you got a clarifier. What's the power like? Is it 3 or 4 wire? What's the amps and the voltage? Type of roofs can determine what you can do. You know what the cost of a rail spur is. You need rail service. That we even got different types of leaks. We got something called industrial gross, lighting. I've even encountered explosion rooms in industrial buildings, which I don't know if anyone knows what that is. Everything from nuclear radioactive remediation that we've encountered in industrial properties to just a nice small little space for a starting company. The market, especially as you said, one of the hottest, and very difficult to find the right building right now.
Debbie?
Looking at the property, high view level to, Google or whatever you want to call it. You really got to get out there and visit the job site. You got to go out and visit the dirt, walk it, see what's going on. There's a lot of hidden gems that can be found or hidden problems. But it's always important to have your boots in the back of the car and make sure that you're walking, looking, seeing what they're doing. And then number 3, most importantly, what I found is you got to study the market. Not only the market that's surrounding the property itself or the asset itself, got to see what's going on in the next future projected time frame that you're going to be involved in this project. So, Fred mentioned land can take as long as 5 years. Sometimes I've been involved in projects that took over 10 years. And we were dealing with a lot of different issues with the community, with engineers. We were dealing with FEMA. So to get involved in larger projects or purchasing a project, when you study the market, know what kind of improvements or acceleration maybe it's a deep planning market and you want to hold it for a certain specific period. So on a high level, Fred, those are probably the top 3 things. Getting to know your jurisdiction, walk the site, just making sure that you guys are really looking at your competition. And I can dive into those 3 things much more farther detail when we've got time. And maybe I'll even do a few classes on it for everybody. It was a long, lengthy process and conversation.
That would be fantastic, and we'll probably ask Jim and Stephanie for a more of an agenda next time because we're running up on it. But this is going by really, really fast. You're all doing a great job, so thank you. Calvin, let's talk about retail real quickly. On your side of the equation, we talked about the difficulties, although you're in the Dallas market, if I'm not mistaken, which is growing demographically and everything. So you may not be experiencing as much as challenge as others. So what are you really seeing?
Yeah, so obviously,
Debbie, I need you to come downstairs and take the dogs and put it now. Outside now.
Activities has been
Now.
racking up like crazy. Especially for restaurants and bars that I'm working with. I mean, they are just like wanting to expand rapidly because with I guess Texas is pretty much kind of back to normal and business back to normal. So activities has been picking up. So that's what we've seen in the market. And, so I think Charles mentioned that, in his world, he's dealing with like, some of the environmental challenges that often, but, when you looking at a property that used to be a dry cleaners and whatnot. So those, and then of course gas stations. So those are the two main watch out for if the property is older, because that could lead to you helping your brand buy the gas station or shopping center that has a dry cleaner plan. Just have to be extra careful about the environmental issues. These two report method so that you know what you're getting into because then that's potential because have to clean up the site, drilling the site and all that kind of stuff. So those are the more challenging parts, but overall retail is pretty straightforward, right? Because I mean you're looking at what intersection, what traffic count, because each retailers, whether it's restaurants or retailers, they have their own desires and traffic. Hello?
Yep. Go.
Yeah, so I thought I had a question. So each of the retailers have their own desires, demographics. Millennials are looking for household income more than 100,000. So those are the things that we every day, right? Depending on what plan, who your plan is. So it's definitely a lot of one thing that I hear, think, kind of like me, I within our eXp company, we have a lot of experts here, right? Whether if you just look at the panels that we have, each of us have years of experience, and we are really the specialists or the expert in the field. So one thing for sure is whenever you are encountering any problems, definitely reach out to us, right? Because we're here to help everyone. I think that's the culture of the eXp commercial, right? So that go back to you.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's one that I think we're in a very unique business. The assets walking in the morning and leaving in the afternoon. You are the assets of this company. What I love about the eXp platform and model is that you can reach out and touch and communicate with the expertise that's required in a given market. These various members here, you can do a much deeper dive to that overall. Calvin brought up something in the last round that I wanted to bring up to those of you who are in smaller markets where you need to be a generalist. And I encountered that quite a bit in my prior career. We were in a lot of secondary and tertiary markets around the United States and North America. That is, if your market is that small, then you should be able to learn a specialty or two specialties and much more. So that's my answer to that is really you should know everything about the product and what's available. So that's extremely important. With that being said, are there any questions from the audience here? I know there's a Q&A thing I'm looking at here just in case anybody has a question. We'll turn that questions. Rich, what would you say? Where should they start conviction?
Well, the very first thing that we need to do for any entrance into commercial real estate is get trained. One of the things that I know President Jim Long very, very well, as everyone knows, the stress on education is imperative. You've got to get yourself educated. There's so much to learn, just the basics. And we've got some great training programs here. I know Jim and Stephanie mentioned many of those earlier. We've got another one coming up in July. That's step one. Step two is you never stop. I mean, there's nothing I like more. This is late stage in my career. I've actually still had 55. So education is absolutely imperative. Secondly, you gotta have a mentor if you're gonna be in commercial real estate. And this is just not something you can do on paper. You gotta actually go through several transactions before you can really go out there and conduct a transaction on your own. So look for a mentorship. Again, I know Jim and Stephanie are working seriously on developing. It's just so important. And then third of all is again, you need to find it. And once you do that, that's when the opportunities will come for you. And it doesn't matter which asset class you choose. There's opportunities that are always there. I remember Fred, when Jim and I were brokers of record, and one broker would come up to me and say, "Oh, you know, nobody's selling anything, nothing's happening." In my mind, I'm saying, "Well, there's an unprepared broker, because those opportunities are out there. It's just that you have to be prepared for it. The way you prepare yourself is to educate you so you completely understand how a property is analyzed. What is it? What is it cost? What is it cost per foot? The fundamentals of the market as well as why the value of that particular property is where it is at that point in time. So those are just a few of the pointers. You got to start with the basics and then work your way up. It's probably not an awful lot different than most other opportunities.
Rich brought up, and all the panelists have brought up the key points, and they've embodied this really. It's like a lifelong willingness to learn. You are always learning no matter how old you are, how long you are in the business. The persistence and positive attitude, and your core values, and being true to yourself, the internal discussion and the external one. So,
Oh, shoot.
I think we lost Fred. Fred, you there?
Hey, Stephanie, maybe I should speak if Fred's not here, since I'm next.
Yeah, let's sit out. Absolutely. Thank you, Lauren.
Of course, you know me, I'm always ready to speak. So for me, it's a little different because you can't just become a commercial realtor and then say, I'm an international lawyer. You have to go to law school, kind of. So it's a little bit of a different answer. But I think that becoming a foreign investor specialist is a big deal. Actually, I know it is. And there aren't a lot of us in the commercial space that are in this area. And there's a lot of demand right now because people are moving across borders. My podcast is actually called Investing Across Borders. So if you're interested in learning more about how to become a specialist and maybe in joining my committee, I would love to chat with you. Just send me a message on Workplace. It's just a great opportunity to learn about all the different specialists as a specialist in the international space. So, and it's not only inbound to the US. That's another important thing. I've worked with a couple of eXp realtors that are expanding outside and with their clients for that matter, expanding from North America into other countries like Belize, like Honduras, like Paris, that's not a country, like France and Spain and you name it. Basically, everybody now wants to diversify their portfolio. So if you want to find a unique opportunity, probably working in the international space, especially within the eXp framework, is an amazing opportunity. And really and truly, I have never felt the level of support. Like Stephanie and Jim are just incredible. Stephanie, you've got to get on my podcast. I know I sent you that, but it's just like, it's really just been like so warm and it's been a huge transition for me. Being in the legal space, everybody's so competitive. In this space, everybody's so collaborative and helpful and supportive and pushes you up and really cheerleads you. And I love that. And I love cheerleading my colleagues as well. So I would love to talk with you if you're at all interested in working with foreigners or expanding your business into other countries or attracting them. And especially if you speak another language like like Spanish or French or Portuguese or Hebrew with Israel coming on board. That'll be a little confusing right now. But anyway, let's talk. I'm here to help you, and don't be shy.
This is Fred. I'm back on. I apologize. I was bounced out for some reason. But anyway, I'm back on, and I was doing a great wrap up. But none of you got to do it. So anyway, but, with that being said, I want to thank our panelists, Rich, Lauren, Charles, Heidi, Calvin. You're all true professionals. We're here to help you with true care, and very excited about the journey with eXp. I think this is for the commercial side of the business, this is a very revolutionary platform and business model. So I've been with all the platforms. I've been on the operating side of the business with CD Ricciardellis, franchising, with boutique house, and I think this platform is the future. So with that being said, I want to thank our panelists, thank all of you for sitting in, and with that, I'll turn it back to you, Stephanie, and to you.
Thank you, Fred, and thank you, panelists. Wonderful, wonderful job. And like Calvin stated in your all's interview just now, what a great talent of expertise we do have here across every boundary, every border, every state of eXp Commercial. And so thank you all for being a part of it, and thank you all for being a part of this company and being in business with us. We appreciate you all. Up next, you guys, get ready for this, because now we're going to talk about the new school, CRE. The new school, right at the intersection of commercial real estate and digital media. Some of you probably saw Jason Ciano, the CEO of Saber Advisors, who has now rolled the brokerage into eXp Commercial on the eXp Commercial Explained over a week ago. And we're going to have them up on stage with parts of his team, but also our very own Bernard Abola, who is our director of marketing here at eXp Commercial, because he truly understands that digital space. And everybody come up. Let's give everyone some expertise into what you guys saw way ahead of the curve and started incorporating in the commercial real estate